All right, so talking Arkham Knight, the most recent installment in the Batman games, and from what I hear, it was a pretty decent game.
Pretty decent, son. That's an understatement.
Okay, so it's a pretty good game, obviously, from what we're hearing here. Um, but what was not so decent, or even rather happening at all, was the Steam PC release of the
It was a
Arkham
it was
Knight
a
game.
general PC release. To remember that because like we had to pull them off shelves.
Oh, okay, so yeah, just a general PC release. It wasn't Steam's fault, obviously.
No,
Nothing really can ever be Steam's fault when it's the game. But anyway, so
that's a good thing.
on to the point. The game was it was unplayable. Is that what it was? Explain the
No, it's not
situation.
that it's not that it's unplayable. It's extremely unoptimized on most systems. Systems that were like a $2,000 system couldn't play the game at like low and get above 30 frames. And the cutscenes in the game would cause you to drop into single digits. Like the game was extremely unoptimized. Smoke would cause your game to like either shut down or single frame rate. Batman's
See,
cape caused you to lag.
yeah,
It
it
was
was
bad.
ridiculous. And like he would like you literally the game starts you when the game starts you off. You don't get a training sequence. Like it explains as you play the game,
Hmm.
but it doesn't throw you into any pre-tutorial or whatever you get. It puts you right into Gotham and you start. You take control of Batman. And the second people got control of Batman, the games got fucked. Some people were lucky enough to get to the Batmobile. Like you get, I mean, it's not really a spoiler.
Oh, but
you
guess
get
what?
the Batmobile pretty early on, and once they press the button to get it, their game crashed.
If your game didn't crash, as soon as you got in the Batmobile, the game would start lagging terribly, like horribly. There's video of it. You can go look it up.
His line is when he calls the Batmobile because he's like the guy's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm evening the odds." And your computer just goes black.
I can see people just holding the controller. They're like, "Is this part of the game?"
See, what's funny though, like I mean, 99% of people playing Arkham Knight have not played the other Arkham games. If maybe
Which
not
is
even
sad.
maybe it's City, not Asylum though.
Mhm.
I can promise you that. And
That's
what's
sad.
funny is in Asylum they had a part in the game where you met Scarecrow, and you had Joker tied up, I think it was, on a bed
Yep.
on a gurney,
Yep.
and the game like started glitching and get pixely. I'm like, is my Xbox got red ring again? And I had no clue what was going on, and then I waited. It's like my stomach dropped, and I come back like that's part of the game. Thank God. So if I got it for PC, I would have assumed I'd just been here like, oh yeah, it's another one of these. Sat here for like an hour waiting. Like, hey, this is a pretty good scene. I'm building up my tension a lot.
But
But no,
this,
like
this,
their games got fucked. And then like not what's odd about it is that not a single console port had a problem.
all the
And it's
because
weird, except like one guy tried to start a problem on the news on the internet, trying to say, oh well, I did a side mission and I went to do it and my game crashed. GG. I'm like,
get
dude,
the hell out of
you're
here.
the only person with this problem that I've seen at least, and not whatever,
Can't
whatever.
decide.
I don't care. It's just people like the bitch.
Like,
But yeah,
and,
that was what it was.
and it's not a laughing matter. Like we tell jokes, but it's not acceptable for Rocksteady to do it. And the reason why the console releases were so smooth and like you got 9s and 10s on PS4 and Xbox One is because Rocksteady worked on those titles and optimized for the Xbox One, and PlayStation 4.
I think
And
the main issue. I'm sorry, but I think the main issue with it is that they delayed it like so many times, and it's taken so long to come out that there's no excuse for this.
well, they delayed it and polished the console ports, but they rushed the PC port. They hired an understaffed third-party developer, Galaxy Software, something like that, to make the PC version of the game. And the game came out. It was missing textures. The PC version didn't have any of the fancy rain effects or ground textures or wall textures or anything that the consoles
sucked.
had.
So I figured,
Of course, and of course, it crashed. The NVIDIA features in the game were broken, like the dynamic smoke, the supposed extra rain, like this extra rain effect you're supposed to get. That was broken and didn't exist. And it was like it's just bug after bug after bug. Either your character model wasn't loading correctly. People were complaining about there's texture quality of Batman himself, like the freaking main character, his texture quality was really bad apparently. The world had terrible pop in. If you were getting a good frame rate, you were getting micro stuttering, so your screen was like all misaligned. Like the game was just a mess.
Just
goes to show
terrible,
you
regardless of
it's
what
a
your
mess.
build was. Is apparently
Yeah.
what people were saying.
Total Biscuit has 2 Titan X's, or 2 of the newest Titan X's that came out. That's like the Maxwell architecture one. Most people don't know what I'm talking about, but those cards cost $1,000 basically. He had 2 of them. He was running the game at maybe 70 or 80 frames per second for 2 $1,000 graphics cards and an 8-core Intel CPU and like 32 gigs of RAM. That is unheard of. He should be getting above 100
300.
whatever. Yeah, like he should be getting like stupid frames in that machine. But he's not, because the game's not optimized for any hardware whatsoever. And NVIDIA people thought they got it bad. AMD people would start the game and it'll just either crash your computer, they'll get a blue screen, or again, when they get to the top screen, everything lags for no reason. There was a user that had my graphics card, the GTX 970, and he tried to play it at low, at 800 by 600 resolution. He still didn't get above 30 frames per second in the game. It was just really bad.
And, yeah, so that's the Arkham Knight game for PC. It's just terrible, not optimized, but they're apparently working on fixing it, which is good. But we also just wanted to talk in general about just releases that come out before they're done cooking in the oven. It seems to happen a lot, especially with Steam Greenlight and stuff like that. We get a lot of these betas and incomplete games that they're pulled out of the oven way too early and put on the table, and people still eat them. It's a pretty big problem these days.
The problem with Steam is that you got people playing for like you kids buying betas like
Don't say you kids. You're talking
kids.
Oh, don't start with me, because you guys buy that nonsense, and then the game. I actually, if correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they ever released a full version of what was it? Was it Daisy or was it the other game? You bought the $20 early access beta, and that's the game. That's literally what it was.
I mean, I've only bought maybe 1 or 2 early access titles. It was H1Z1 and then something else, but H1Z1 is still adding content. The other one, it was Rust. The other one's Rust.
Rust that never left beta. It's still
it's still in beta, but they remade the game. Basically, they scrapped what they had and they remade it.
That's good. Yeah, that's the problem. You can't support stuff like that. That's my opinion.
We don't support it. We don't support it.
You paid for it.
Before it was an issue. Rust was one of the first games that came out with the early access thing. It was
and
successful.
I think what really started this beta paid program thing was Minecraft, because Minecraft was the game that stayed in beta for its through its whole popularity. But Minecraft was in beta, and so everybody saw that and they said, "Oh, look, these dumbasses are buying betas. Let's make incomplete betas, and these idiots will buy them," and they do. But it happens all the time.
What's funny about that is that like there were these kids buying Minecraft, and that's excusable because they're kids.
Yeah, they're kids.
They're just trying to buy these day one in Rust or Daisy and Rust. Like, come on, you guys are at least 20 years old buying this game. You should know better than that. And then
they're making all these games because Minecraft was so successful. They're making all these games that are survival type games, and they're in the beta, and they seems like they never, years later, they still never finished the game. Like Rust, I'm shocked that it's still in beta because I haven't played it in over a year.
No.
And, everyone's just trying to make Minecraft too. It's not gonna happen. Stop.
People should follow.
Just like PC 2. If it was meant to happen, it was meant to happen. But it's not gonna happen.
I think people should follow in Bethesda's footsteps. You know, finish your game and announce it, and then release it 5 months later. That's what you should do.
Bruh,
that's what they said with Fallout 4, right? They pretty much, when they announced it, they said it's pretty much done. Like, we're done developing it. Probably
that's
just
what
putting
they
like the
always-
finishing touches on it.
They're not adding anything anymore. They're just doing polishing and stuff.
I think the only game they didn't do that with was Skyrim. They announced Skyrim an entire year before.
Yeah, but see, let me tell you what's wrong with Skyrim. Skyrim.
You're one of the few people that hate Skyrim. Get out of
Because I'm one of the few people that have a real opinion of a game anymore. I feel like, I mean, not to sound conceited, but everyone I've ever talked to is like, "Hey, how do you feel about Elder Scrolls or something?" Like, "Oh, I love Skyrim." I'm like, dude,
They're
I
on the hype
love
train.
Morrowind. I haven't played completely through, but from what I played of it, I love it. Oblivion, my favorite RPG of all time. Skyrim was garbage. I don't know why people like it so much. I think because of the little meme bullshit that spouted from it. People are like, oh, let's try this game, and like apparently it's so popular they like force themselves to like it. They had to have, because not one person I've ever met that just had one bad thing to say about that game.
I mean,
I can't find a good thing to say about it.
the game was a buggy mess at release. Like, everyone knows that. Like, the feature that elemental damage was a thing, like water spells were supposed to hurt fire elementals, that was broken until they patched it like 3 or 4 months later.
I wasn't
Like-
even gonna get it originally, but then I saw the final like release trailer and it was a gameplay trailer. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get this, and I took me months to. What's funny is that like my game stopped loading, like a month or two into the play, like into my its lifetime that I owned it. I got it release day, mind you. It just stopped loading for me, and from then on, I haven't been able to play it. Eventually, I just made a new save file and I beat it, but. Like regardless, I still get loading issues. I haven't played for probably like a year, but I don't know.
That was a thing on the console. It had to deal with like a RAM leak or something like that. I read something about that. It happened on PlayStation as well. But
All right, but final thoughts. They need to finish their games, stop releasing beta.
Well,
optimize.
here's the thing: developers stop releasing half-assed garbage, and consumers stop buying into the bullshit.
Honestly, stop buying unfinished.
They're making it
just
okay,
pulled out
so
of the
you
oven.
have no right to complain when they release nonsense like this.
If your waiter brought you a burger and it had a tuft of hair in it, you wouldn't eat that burger. So why are you playing unfinished games? That's your thought of the day, people. There you go.